Paul Hugunin from Minnesota Grown. I bet this audience is pretty well aware, at least of part of what Minnesota Grown, some of the things that Minnesota Grown does. But we really thank you, Paul, for making the trip up here. Last year he came to McIntosh in December. Came through some really crappy weather yesterday, so I do appreciate you making the trip up. It's really great to have you here, and I hope that you can talk a little bit about Project or Minnesota Grown and what you do, and then we can. Last year, I think we just had a little give and take about what might be next. So we look forward to that.
Perfect.
So welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for letting a Southerner come and join you. And when I say Southerner, I kind of mean that because I grew up in Jackson, Minnesota, which is about as far away from here as you can get and still be in the same state. So I live in the Twin Cities now, so not quite as far south. But, so I've been working with local foods for just over 25 years through the Minnesota Grown program. The program's been around for about 30 years, of which I've been there for most of it. What I want to do today is two things. I want to talk a little bit about some of the specific resources that we have for farmers markets. And then I want to share some of the things that came out of our consumer research. And things that I think are kind of tips and marketing ideas that would have some value for farmers markets and market vendors. As we go through, if you've got questions or comments, just shout them out, raise your hand, yell, whatever you want to do. But certainly give and take is a big part of what I'd like to do. So Minnesota Grown has been around a long time, about 30 years, 25 of which have been as a program within the State Department of Agriculture. During the time that I've worked with the program, it's grown from about 300 members to 1,200 members. So we've seen a lot of growth over the years, which is really exciting. One of the things I want to do is talk a little bit about what you get for $20 to be a member of Minnesota Grown. So the main thing is it gives you the right to use the logo, which means you can use it on a brochure, a website, a flyer. It could be any way you want to use it to promote something that you grew or raised here in Minnesota. You get to use that logo. The free promotional materials, which are probably the thing that most people utilize, and that's where you start to talk about value for $20. I didn't bring them up here because they're all on my display board back there, but it's everything from laminated price cards to stickers of a whole bunch of sizes and shapes. For anybody who might be certified organic, we have an organic logo, a version of Minnesota Grown. We've got some of the things that market vendors are really use a lot of. We've got these little plant stakes with the smiling veggies on it. I saw it on this board here. Those things are available from us. Something that is new that you may not know we have are rubber bands. So for anything that you sell in bunches, or that you have vendors who sell in bunches, we have rubber bands now. And those, everything that we have is free. Everything that we have is unlimited in quantity. Because usually when I say we got all this stuff, it's free, people say, well, how many can I have? And my answer is, if you have a use for 40,000 oval stickers, I will send you 40,000 oval stickers. And I have members who order in quantities of 40,000. I have honey vendors who put that sticker on every jar of honey that they sell. And they sell through grocers and all over the place. So for $20, there's no reason that every vendor at your market wouldn't have the price cards, the twist ties, and all that sort of stuff. Now, one of the important things, and one of the places that people get confused about Minnesota Grown, is with farmers markets. So the farmers market itself becomes a member, which means you get to use the logo on your signs and all the kind of advertising you do, you put on your website. The market can order some signs to put up to advertise itself, etc. But the vendors at the market need to be members on their own. Okay, so individual vendors who want to put up the price cards, use the rubber bands and the twist ties and all that stuff, they need their own license. A lot of times what we'll see is that somebody from the market will order a huge quantity of stuff and they'll say, yeah, but I'm going to give it to everybody at the market. And that's not how it works. Trust me, for 20 bucks, if you're a vendor at a farmer's market, you will go through that value every year, or you should be going through more than $20 worth of stuff every year. So for $20, you get to use the logo, you get all the point of sale materials. If you have a package, maybe it's a box, maybe it's a custom bag, maybe it's a label, if you put the logo on that, we can cost share that 50% of the cost up to $200. So for anybody that you work with that's got their own box, like CSA Farms will have custom boxes, or lots of folks have custom bags, those kinds of things, that's something that you can take advantage of as well. And that's also the entry level. That makes you a member of Minnesota Grown, which means if you want to be in the directory, which is what I'll talk about next, you have the ability to do that. But before I move on and leave the promotional materials, anybody have any questions about basic membership or the kinds of stuff that we have available, what's included, anything like that?
I would like to have a little sampling box of all the things that our vendors could utilize, so that when we go to our vendor meeting, we can say, here's what's available, be sure and join.
Great idea. We'd be happy to do that. Call me or send me an email, or Jessica, whom I work with and couldn't be here today. We would love to do that. And also, I mean, we can't go to every annual meeting of a farmer's market, but we do everything we can to never turn down a market that says we want to have you come. It's our annual meeting where we, assign stalls or whatever. We're happy to do that whenever we can. So, but having a sample of all the stuff, great idea, we'll do that. Just let us know what and when.
Diane, we can just take his board there.
Yeah.
It'll serve you well.
There you go. Any other questions or comments or suggestions? Is there something that you as a vendor wish we made that we don't? Yes?
Plastic bags.
Oh, okay, so we don't make them, but the Minnesota Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association does, and they have a group order every year. You can get plastic bags. You can also get these reusable ones. Now, both bags will come with the Minnesota Grown logo on it, but if you want, you can customize it with a market name or an individual farm name on it. You don't have to be a member of the Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association to do that. You just have to be a Minnesota Grown member. But they do one order a year so that it's an affordable rate. Those plastic bags they do are really popular because they're very sturdy. They were designed to hold, I think a dozen ears of sweet corn or
2 dozen.
cantaloupe. So, and they work. They're
good. They're good quality. Our market orders them.
Bring them back too every week.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
use them
well,
'cause they're so
good.
nice.
And even the plastic ones they bring
Yeah.
back. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Mhm.
So, and if you want, I'll give you the number to call, and I don't know if Maryland has ordered those yet this year or not.
No, we got about another week.
Okay, good.
March 1st.
763, if you want, I'll give you the number, you can call her, 763-434-0400, and that's Maryland. And the more people that order, the better it is for everybody.
Don't forget that you'll cost share on the logo.
Yeah, and actually through MFVGA, our cost share is built into that. But if there's something that your market needs that's custom, that's permanent, well, these banners are a good example of the kind of thing. So we're happy to cost share with that. Some markets, I don't know if anybody in this region has them, but there are markets who do sandwich boards that they put out every market day. And so those would be eligible because those are.
And some cities put them out and they.
And they
then
got
take them
stolen by the state highway department.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty ugly people. They don't like farmers markets, them highway department people.
Yeah, we've got, and that's not unique to this region of the state either, so.
Oh, okay.
If you have any suggestions, so you get to the market this year, you're like, God, I wish he had
It's easy
something,
if you
tell
don't
us.
have them living in your community.
So marketing material, look for that.
What he did.
All right, so
He drives down.
these banners over here are the perfect example of how this new logo can be utilized, and I think it turned out awesome. We are
Because they were
so
just
proud to be able to partner with Linda and the regional partnership. From our perspective, this kind of thing
Ugly.
makes so much sense because we really believe this is the best of both worlds. This allows a region to have its own identity. And man, if you weren't a part of the planning committee, you have no idea how many versions of this there are and how detailed this is, ranging from the fact that the sun is not in the center, to which trees are where and how far away from the river they are and which color green they are, and the fact that this river, I mean, this may look like it's just an illustrated deal, but that thing is 100% accurate.
That's for 3 biomes there. You see the prairie and the aspen parkland and the.
And Linda was clearly part of that design.
Which tree, Linda?
There were several versions of trees that went in there, and I would go to my graphics person and I'd say, okay, we can't use that tree, we need to use this tree. No, not over there, we need to put that tree in.
I
But
wasn't the only one being fussy.
No.
You're fussy.
But you know what, at the end of the day, I think that what came out of that is something that's attractive, that's easy to use, easy to recognize. And we are really, really proud to be a part of that. So right now, I mean, a lot of the markets, hopefully everybody here has this kind of a banner with that logo. There's the custom version of the Minnesota Grown Directory for this region, which takes all of the markets in this region, puts you on the inside front cover of the Minnesota Grown Directory, splashes that logo nice and big. The back outside cover is also custom to this region. We don't charge for that. I mean, seriously, folks, I mean, this is what I talk about, the best of both worlds. You get to do something that's customized locally, but you get to take advantage of a statewide effort. So you get to take advantage of the fact that you have ongoing staff people. You have my time and Jessica's time. So we've been there 30 years. Well, she hasn't been there 30 years. The program has been there 30 years, so you can be confident that there's that support that goes on. The logo has built up a lot of statewide recognition and value. And we print 190,000 copies of that directory and distribute them statewide. So for us to customize it and give you 5,000 or however many thousand you guys want is easy to do. We're happy to do that. So we're really thrilled that Linda's been fantastic. Both Lindas have been fantastic to work with. Now, the next question is, the thing for you to think about, what would you like with that logo on it that doesn't exist today? Is there something that you want for market vendors that uses that logo? Now, it could be taking something that we've already got with the regular logo and saying that's the piece we want to have our logo on, or it could be something entirely different. Like we've got these 8.5, I think they're 8.5 by 11 laminated cards of just the regular Minnesota Grown logo. Maybe you want to do something like that but different with this logo. Think about that. And Linda, do you go ahead.
Plastic shopping bags.
With that logo on it?
Yes.
Okay.
And where I'm coming from here, and we won't have any secrets in this room, is when you go to Minnesota for the Vegetable Growers Association, very expediently, do they fill your order, they ship it out, it's great. We have a situation where there are a certain amount of markets that don't have the funds available to join Minnesota Grown. We've had some history with that and helping people with scholarships to do that. And when you go to the Vegetable Growers Association, you pay $80 for 1,000 bags. So do I spend my $80, $60 with Minnesota Grown, or do I buy plastic bags to stay within the regulation, to go along with my rubber band, then my parsley that's on the thing, you know, plastic bags. Make them as available as you can as you do the other promotional products with the veggie tags and the twist ties and
We need to talk about that more. That would be a very difficult thing for us to make available free in mass
I
quantities.
know that, that's why I'm bringing the challenge.
Well, so is there anybody else here who has any suggestions?
We don't need anybody else. Did you want me to write down your list of things you need to do when you get back?
Yes, please. I have no doubt that there's already a list started, so I look forward to it. Yeah.
Last year, in addition to the, we had, I think Kristen's the only one that did the banners this way. We did some banners that are wide and have that same look. And then we had some small, I think they call them realtor signs, they just stick in the ground. And I wonder, and I think a couple times now, we've had kind of a batch of those done. They've been cost shared by Minnesota Grown, and then we have some ship dollars put together with some of our regional partnership dollars. So I'm just wondering, is there a need for more of those? Yes, Twin Valley. Yes, Monoman. So I'm happy to sort of help coordinate that and do it as one
We have to
purchase.
kill them.
Yeah, and we could do one arrangement with you like we did last year.
Is that what her
We
idea
have,
was?
we have to put out a hit man and get rid of the guy.
And every once in a while, we'll round up the ones that get to.
Yeah, you guys go to the city garage and pick up their signs.
Well, it's one thing that they went around and picked them up, but then they didn't say nothing. So we thought people had just stolen them. So for 6 weeks, we're wondering who stole our sandwich boards. Then all of a sudden, somebody drives by the city thing or the state thing and sees a sandwich board sticking out of a building and goes, I know who's got them. Oh yeah, but nobody said nothing to us.
No.
I mean, they kind of played dirty pool.
One question I have, you were talking about your new logo and stuff. Dumb question, why aren't there any vegetables on it? Why do you have trees instead of vegetables?
You see where that row is, there's a kind of squiggles in the front, I planted that row. The machinery planted the row that's very nice and straight, and there's the seeds are in the ground.
Oh, they haven't sprouted yet?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
I'll throw out one comment and then Linda can. Because we run into this with our directory and with our covers and have every year. The minute you put one thing that you're marketing and is for sale, everything that's not in that picture, people are like, yeah, but you don't have any beef cattle.
Really?
You don't have any
Wow.
asparagus. And so if you notice, there's not a single thing in there that you would buy at a farmer's market. But yeah, the idea is so that people in this region can look at that and go, that's us, that's us.
Okay.
That's my thought.
Yeah, and I think we were the second region that had a regional logo, and the first one was the Pine and Lakes Country in central Minnesota. So it's sort of more about the landscape, the
And more
setting.
describes our region than it does our,
Product.
yeah, describes our region.
Describes the region.
Yep, that's
And,
a
maybe
good
put your
question.
veggies on a beautiful sign.
Yeah.
It's an
And then
apple.
it lets you, as a producer and as vendors, customize however you want with what else you have.
The other thing too is on the cover, because we have a lot of them at work and giving them out a lot. Is there an opportunity to have on the cover more of a diverse grouping of people? I mean, we get back into the vegetable thing, but also have pictures where it reflects the Minnesota of a larger class than,
Right.
Carrie.
Yeah, that one lady.
That's Carrie, yep. And that's a challenge for us. We've talked about that before. Some people have looked at our covers and said there's no male on the cover. There's never been a male on the cover. Well, there will be this year because this year this is Carrie and her husband and her 2 kids. So all white, okay? But the fact is she's our spokesperson. We have a spokesperson. And part of what we're doing is building up awareness and brand equity in her. Now, as we move along, I'm not sure about photos on the inside and graphics on the inside of the directory, but in other places we will make an attempt to be more diverse, if you will, about the kinds of people.
just who attends the farmers market. Because I go to the cities of St. Paul and it's just
Yep.
like, man,
Yeah.
boom, and just people attending and just showing the diverse people who really attend farmers market or here.
Yeah. When we do commercials and things like that, we do try to make sure, because a lot of our commercials are people talking about why they're at, wherever they're at. So we do try to do it in all the ways. All right. Okay, so the directory we've talked a little bit about, 190,000 copies, it's still $40 for a listing. So you add the $20 membership, $40 listing, you're in for $60, makes you a member and in the directory. $60 a year is the most you could ever spend on us. I think every market that's in the room is in this next directory with the exception of Twin Valley, and we're going to fix that before the end of the day, hopefully. Okay? If there's not, like, I think one of the gals from SHIP works with Park Rapids. Park Rapids is a market that renewed their license, but not the listing in the book. So we literally are just about ready to send it to print. So I would need to know today, otherwise Jessica needs to know tomorrow before she leaves in order to make that happen.
There are two markets in Park Rapids. One of them does have a listing now.
Oh, okay.
One of them is still only has a license.
I didn't know
Was that an oversight, or?
I think they just renewed their license, thinking that's, that does get them on the list, the poster that we put
Yeah.
inside, if they have a license, so, I don't know, but we can check.
Linda, did Janice Lee get in time?
Yeah, she's renewed.
Just checking,
Yep.
thank you.
Okay, so we print 190,000 copies. It's also available online. 2013 was a record number for us in terms of how many people use the online directory. By far our best year with 265,000 unique visitors. When you use web stats, people will use/abuse web statistics all the time. You'll hear people talk about hits, and you can talk about page views, you can talk about whatever. A unique visitor is as close as you can get to a person as possible. So if I go from my computer at home and I go to minnesotagrown.com, I count as one. I go back tomorrow, the meter still says one. I go back 1,000 times this month, the meter still says one. That's how that works. So we had 265,000 unique visitors in 2013. The website is under construction. It's actually nearly complete. Jess tells me she'll launch that in April this year, so that's coming up. Couple of big things about the new site compared to the one we have now. First and foremost, it's mobile friendly. If you have a smartphone, please don't go to our website on it. It's terrible. It really is, and I'll talk about that more later in our consumer survey. What we have now does not look very good on a mobile phone. The new site is designed to do that. It's what's called a responsive site, so it knows what you're using for a device, and it will change how it presents information based on what you're using as a device. So it's mobile friendly. The other thing is that it integrates social media into our homepage. So if the new site was up, the picture that I took at lunch with the Crookston folks in their banner and posted to our Facebook page from the back table, and by the way, has already been seen by over 700 people and liked 21 times with a comment, and the comment said, that looks like something you could hang on a light pole in a city. And so I wrote back and I said, that's exactly what it's for. If we had the new site, that would now be on our homepage automatically so that people who go to minnesotagrown.com would go, hey, there's a Facebook page, and look what they just said today. So it's integrated with our social media. We will also have a Pinterest component to that, so Pinterest will be on the homepage. Much improved search engine optimization, which really isn't visible to you, but it means we'll have a lot more traffic and a lot better traffic. For markets, the big thing is, you were talking about events. And you can post events on your detailed listing right now, but nobody would know that you had an event unless they went to your detailed listing. With the new site, events like that will rotate through our homepage, so that people who come to minnesotagrown.com will be able to see, oh, there's an event at the Manoomin Farmers Market Tuesday night. So it's designed for people like farmers markets who have special events and want to promote them. How we treat photos. If you're in the directory and you haven't sent us photos, shame on you. Send us photos of your market. It really helps how your listing looks. When we launch the new page, it's really how we handle photos now, it looks kind of cruddy on the side, but what we have on the new site will be much better. It'll be a slideshow, bigger pictures, they'll look much nicer. So that's something to look forward to in April.
So can pictures just be sent whatever?
Yeah. Yeah, just, you can email them to me or preferably to Jessica, but if you send them to me, it's all the same. We sit next to each other,
So
so.
would you want like one per market?
No, actually, we'll take more than that. So I think,
Do you want a
The current
picture of our
site-
beautiful banner?
sure, anything you want. So I took out the slide too. I have a market that has pictures on it, but if you have your own logo for a market, yeah,
That'd be great.
that would be a great one. If you have a logo for your market, some do, some don't, that's a great graphic. If you've got a picture of, like I'm looking at these kids in here, anything that kind of shows the personality of your market. Something that when somebody who's never been there goes to your page, goes, that looks like a fun place to go. Those look like nice people. It looks like good stuff. Pictures really do sell, and they create that warmth and that personality. And let's face it, farmers markets are about people. That's why they exist. It's about community connections and you getting to know your neighbor, and they get to see what you grow and learn from you how to cook it, what to grow, all that stuff. So that's a really long way around of your real question, which was how many pictures should you send us? Right now, we can have 3 graphics. I think the new site is more like at least 4. But just email them to us. You can send them as a JPEG, whatever. Don't worry about formatting them or whatever. We'll take care of that. Yeah.
I would just like to say if you guys have pictures, also send them to Linda or myself. Or
Preferably Anna.
We really like to use them for stuff also, like the bookmarks that we created. We, have that wonderful pictures of Solstice, and we do use them for a lot of stuff. And so her and I would really appreciate pictures of your market, people at your market, those kind of things. We would definitely use them.
Okay, cool, yeah.
Is there a way for your new website to take short videos also? Because I could think of like if I had my smartphone and I did like a 15-second video like at the Mentor Farmers Market of the kitty, I'm thinking of like the kitty vendor, or like if you hosted something, whatever, or just people being around. I mean, for me, if I see a short little video, I'm like, ooh, I want to be there. I gotta check that out.
Facebook.
And I think picture, like with my age, like the short little video, like 15 to 20 seconds, that really resonates with people in my demographic. I mean, pictures are great, but the video is like, ooh.
Right now,
Just a thought.
there won't be a way to do that on your detailed listing page. We, however, have the ability to put a video into, say, a Facebook post. So if you have that for your market, we often share our members' stuff, so we'll share it. So there's ways to do that, and my guess is that once this one is launched, the way these things work is you immediately start figuring out all the things you wish it did that it can't do yet. But that's a great suggestion. Have Linda put that on our list.
Even for if people have Facebook pages to upload those, 'cause
Yeah.
it's easy and it's free.
Yeah.
The other question, we were talking about accessibility to vegetables. Is there a listing, either here or online, that shows where there's WIC and EBT markets, so that, someone knows if they've got a WIC or EBT, they're motoring to a place where they have an option there?
I'm trying to think, we have a page, we have a printed quick list, and I don't remember if that indicates which ones are EBT or not. We would certainly hope that if you accept either of those things at your market, that you include it in your listing, because one of the things that the new website does is it allows a keyword search. So if you have included that, we accept WIC, we accept EBT, somewhere in your listing, and somebody just does a keyword search for that, it will pull up every market that lists that.
And so the listing that's on the website, that could be updated at any time when it changes.
Right.
Anytime, yes.
That would be.
Yeah.
And we haven't been able to do much in terms of adding or subtracting product listings, but that would be a good suggestion that we should add that as a product. Just like you can search for anybody who's certified organic. I think that would be a worthwhile thing for us to add so that you can search for any market that accepts EBT or WIC. So have Linda add that to her list, and then I'll share that list with Jessica when I go back, so that not this launch in April, but that's something that we'll work on adding.
Yeah, and this is all we got.
Okay, so we're gonna go really, really quick now. So I wanted to talk about okay. The value of the directory, this comes out of the surveys that we did. We did surveys at farmers markets and all sorts of locations. We really asked a lot of questions to get at where do these people get their information? So if they were at a farmer's market, we asked them, where did you get information about this market? What influenced you to come here today? So one of the questions, obviously, we wanted to know was the value of the directory and what percentage of customers at these venues got information about that place from the farmer's market. And it ranges from 21% of all the customers at Berry Farms used the Minnesota Grown directory to find out about the farm. That's amazing. And everything else is right around that 10% range, which is pretty cool when you think about it. You take a market day and visualize all the people at your market and figure that 1 out of every 10 of those people found out something about you that got them there today from the directory. You can do the math on that pretty quick about how far your 60 bucks is. Oh, and those percentages are always higher for new people. I mean, if you're a returning customer, you don't need to go look up the market online. But if you maybe heard there might be a market in town, but you've never been there before, the first thing you're going to do is jump on Google or whatever, and you're going to say, is there a farmer's market here? Where is there a farmer's market? And they'll wind up at our directory. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit more on those consumer surveys we did. So all told, we had about 4,500 consumers who responded to surveys at one of those locations. 57 farmers markets, over 1,100 people responded. And those all took place in about a 12 to 18 month window. I don't think there's ever been a sample of consumers that size related to direct marketing of agricultural products that's been surveyed. I'd be shocked if that had ever happened before. So we have pretty good representation in terms of where these markets come from. Basically, we did it, vendors gave out a little postcard when somebody, bought something from them, and it just said, help us do a better job of serving you. It gave them a custom URL. This is from one of the berry farms, but it was exactly the same for the farmers markets. And then they could fill out the survey, and we gave away a gift certificate to folks who had done it. One of the recurring themes, the value of communication with your customers. Regular, consistent communication. E-newsletters, printed newsletters, postcards, you name it. That was something that we saw over and over again that was important. If you don't have a way to gather email addresses from customers who come to your markets, think about how you can do that this year. And it's not difficult to do. People who come and buy from you, they already trust you in the market, so they're more willing to do that.
It was, I think, one of our best marketing tools. I always had a board out and I stopped people. Have you signed our email list? Have you signed our email list? I brought a sample of one of our email newsletters if anyone wants to look at. And what I found was every week when I sent it out, I tried to do something really just folksy, newsy. What can you look for? Here's a little profile on one of our vendors. And how about this? And, check this out. And boy, this is the first thing I'm going to buy, and here's a recipe. And we got so much feedback from people coming in and saying, thank you for letting me know that you were having, what you were having this weekend. Oh, I so enjoyed hearing about that person. And it was the really down to personal chatty that worked. Not like an advertisement, but they thought they came and it was like they were our new best friends. I wouldn't recognize these people and they go, oh, Diane, thank you so much. Oh, I so enjoyed, and we had all these new friends. And I think it's that personal reach out.
If you're getting those kinds of comments and that kind of feedback, you are absolutely, you're doing it right. Because that is the point. You're not the local car dealership selling cars, okay? You are a farmer's market with farmer's market vendors and you are building relationships. So kudos to you. That's exactly the way to do that. All right, by my watch, I've got 2 minutes to wrap this up. So this is going to go really quick. The other thing that came through loud and clear is the role of social media, particularly Facebook. Basically, this says there's a lot of people that use Facebook. The demographics of Facebook users surprisingly match up very well with farmers market customers. The stereotype is that Facebook is used by a bunch of kids in high school. Newsflash, kids in high school do not use Facebook. They don't. Why don't they use Facebook?
Mom and dad
It's
are
adults
Because
are-
their parents use it. I have a 15-year-old daughter. Is she going to do the same thing I use? No! By definition, it's not cool if dad does it. Facebook users, their demographics match up pretty nice, 35 to 64. Less than 10% of them are under 17, and I would bet that's dropping every day. So back to the survey. So, people that buy direct from the farmer, Christmas tree farms, berry farms, farmers markets, are using Facebook. They're using it regularly. What about farmers markets? Over half of the farmers market customers that did our survey use Facebook at least once a day. But what I think is more important, 10% of them said that social media influenced their decision to be at that market on that day. Now, that doesn't mean that your market has a Facebook page. This might mean neighbor Susan posted that said, I went to the market and got this really cool batch of sweet corn, or the tomatoes are awesome, or such and such is at the market. Doesn't mean necessarily it's you. It could be your customers that are doing that. But that's an amazing number of people who were influenced about their decision on where they're going to go. People always talk about word-of-mouth advertising, which obviously is the best, most valuable, most common form of advertising. But keep in mind, social media is word-of-mouth advertising. It just, there was a time when word-of-mouth advertising meant you actually opened your mouth and spoke. It doesn't anymore. You can do it without that. Yeah. All right, so we have a Facebook page. We post 5 to 7 times a week. A couple of things that this was one of our better posts, but one of the things was we had a clear call to action. We asked them to share the post. We had a really cool picture of Carrie and her daughter. People love people in posts. If you make a post and you don't have a picture, forget it. Don't bother. Put a picture with darn near everything you do. I could put a post that says, we're giving away $1 million, and nobody would react to it. If I said I'm giving away 1 jar of honey, and I put a picture of it, I will have hundreds of people like it and share it like that. Our demographics for our page, 78% female, not surprisingly. But what is kind of cool, 78% of the people who like Minnesota Grown are female. If you dig deeper into the stats and you look at who shares and who likes, 90% of the people who engage with our page are female. So of all the likes, it's dominantly women. But if you look at people who actually engage and do stuff with it, it's even stronger women. Our age, our people are older than the average Facebook users, not surprisingly, but it's right where our demographics are. When we talk to television stations, radio stations, we talk about adults 25-54, and given a choice between male and female, we'll take the female. It's exactly who gets into the kinds of things that we post and talk about. I talked about integrating your Facebook page with your website. You've got to, everything you do as a market has to be coordinated. It has to be consistent in its messaging, and it has to fit together. You don't want to send mixed messages in different venues, so you want to be consistent with that. For us, we're getting a lot of people to our webpage via Facebook. When we launch the new website, we'll have even more than that. Mobile phone users, the number of mobile phone users that came to our website was up 9-fold before, which is why we need desperately a mobile phone friendly site. I'm going to skip Facebook advertising. Anybody in here do Facebook advertising, promote a post? Okay. Talk to me about that. I'd love to talk about that. We do a lot of it. I do a lot of that. I do a lot of sponsored search on Google, Yahoo, and Bing. I'm going to skip almost all those slides, but talk to me about it. I'd love to teach people how to do that, and it's really effective. The one example I'll give is that post that I showed you. We put $100 behind it to promote it. We can target it by demographics and age. And if you look at the statistics, we had 316 people came to our webpage because of that, 32 cents a click. We had 152 page likes come out of that. You combine those, it cost us about 21 cents for every, what I would call, really desirable outcome. Meaning they either got to the website or they liked our page. Okay, I do a lot of this kind of stuff. Cost is very comparable in terms of driving people to the website. The one nice thing I like about Facebook advertising, you also get an ongoing relationship if they like you. So I'll skip that. I will say this, if you ever wonder about why a farmer's market ought to be listed in the online directory, just with pay-per-click alone, we brought in almost 28,000 people who clicked on the farmer's market ad. So people that went to Google and said, I'm looking for a farmer's market, and then clicked on it, that's the kind of numbers we bring in for that. The reason that I want to have a smartphone-friendly site, this came out of that survey again, percentages of people who said that they own a smartphone, and in the last year, I'll guarantee you, every one of those has gone up 5 to 10%. And if they have a phone, they use it to go online. Okay, so I'm over time, but I know we've got a break coming up. I'd love to answer any questions. Some of the neat things about things like Facebook and pay-per-click, the marketing data that comes out of that is staggering. The surveys that we did, and you look at responses from 4,500 people, where we're asking things like age, how much did you spend, how did you hear about this place, how far did you travel, on and on and on and on. It's incredibly valuable stuff, and it's very informative to what we do and to the decisions we make. Now, we're going to repeat those surveys about every 3 years, so, which means we're probably 1 to 2 years away from doing it for farmers markets again. But if you as a market want to participate, all it's going to cost you is a gift certificate. So you're going to have to say, yeah, we're willing to give away maybe a $25 gift certificate to the market. After that, everything is free. All you have to do is give the postcards to certain numbers of vendors during, like a week or a 2-week period. And then in addition to the aggregate results statewide, you will get results just for your customers. So you will see comments from your customers, you'll see how far they traveled, how much they spent, what comments they have about your market. So that's something to look forward to, not this year, maybe the next year, but more likely the year that comes after that. So, but we're going to do that on an ongoing basis. We did all of those surveys within the same 12 to 18 month period. We're going to start to stagger those so that we can do them on an ongoing basis and make it part of what we do. So that's all I got. I'll be here. I've got a little display in the back. Oh, man. Good night. So one of the door prizes we've got is a sweatshirt. There's shirts back there. They've got them all available to buy. If there's something you want that I don't have here, we'll ship it to you free. And there is a cool farmer's market recipe book or a cookbook that just got sent to us by the author. That's on the table. You can't take that. It's not even for sale yet. It's going to be for sale in a couple of weeks. But it might be the kind of thing that as a market, you always kind of want to have a cool incentive, like, here's a link to our website as a Facebook post. If you share it, we're going to give away one of those cookbooks or something. So it's nice to have ideas like that to give away. Thank you very much.